And not bad odds for the 5 lights to go out over here, as they have, and we have begun racing. Side by side, going into back at the back end. Almost 3 wide. Alex Joseph has sent in once again, has sent Fury into he has retired from this race. Comes on, there it goes, Wizard of Oz, clearly on the charts. These huge collision.
Welcome ladies and gentlemen to round 6 of our season 12 coverage of the F125 League. I'm your streamer Kapil A6, would be joined by a couple of commentators in a short while. We're back in Bahrain in the desert. We're a little late, so apologies for that. Our gentlemen are already on track, so let's jump right into the action and see who's where. So we've got the usual suspects, shall I say. We've got Jisnu on top with 127.335, and Aradhya, his rival, shall I say, his Rosberg to the Hamilton, with a 28.1. That is the top two, separated by almost a whole second, 8/10 of a second. It's a big gap right now, and Jishnu just showing us who's boss. Simply Whitey in the Red Bull in P3, Arjun Senapati in P4, and the rest of the pack seems quite close at this point in time. 28.4, 28.5, 28.6, 28.9. That's your next 5. We've got 11 drivers on the track right now. Hopefully a few more join in. There was a fairly last minute change on the schedule by popular demand from the drivers, so we're starting the stream early, starting the session early, and yeah, hopefully we have a good showing in our hands in the desert. Yep. So what's at stake here? You know, you've got drivers who haven't had too much success, at least in terms of the raw pace, and struggle to make their way up the pack. It has been a bit of a spread this year. Racing has been tight, yes. You know, you can always say that when push comes to shove, you do have gentlemen keeping it clean and showing us what true good quality racing is. But yeah, nevertheless, you've got the top end of the pack. Helium, hopefully, will be back in the session. He's currently in the pits. Who's been the closest rival to Jishnu and the Mercedes. So we will definitely be on the lookout for how he performs a little later in the session. But as of right now, yeah, let's get on board with Arjun Senapati. He's on his second run. Shall I say? I think could be the third run too. It's 2/10 up, with 2 sectors to go. His improvements are always good. Whether he can keep it clean till the end is what we're about to see. AlphaTauri braking at the curb, start taking generous use but not overly as much, cross the line to go into P3, displacing Simply Whitey as the lead car in the second row. It's a good lap from him. Who's doing what now? You got Banaf, Zibanaf, or the Banat on the end of his lap. Oh, he improves way above to 128.2. So all the way from P2 to P6 is a close battle right now. You got just a few tens separating them, which is great to see. So yeah, we have a lot of trucks, a lot of folks on board. Dark Knight improving massively, 5/10 up on his banker lap in the first sector alone. So this is looking like a stonker of a lap so far. Will he be able to keep it clean and keep his tires and pressures in check? Jishnu, however, improving by 2 more tenths, going up to a 127.1. Yeah, this really, it's been a tale of the season so far. He's just been that cut above, especially in quali. Now we'll see, how he's 1 second up his Dark Knight lap. It didn't look to be a representative lap last time, but he's well in. But he's invalidated his lap going into the last corner. So that's unfortunate. He's going to be kicking himself that he threw this away. But yeah, he was on pace for a 28.5 or better. Unfortunate. Okay, so we got Oxygen, who's just started his lap, I believe. No, he's done with his lap. He moves up into P4, 128.2. Got King James, who is in the last sector, 1.5 tenths up. Yeah, how is he going to fare going into the last corner? Uh, the Racing Bulls, shall I say, have been the closest, at least on track. They've been nose to tail throughout. Yeah, King James improving a little bit, but not as much. Alex, our late Latif for the session, started and finished his first run with a 129.5, so he definitely has some grounds to make. But yeah, that's your second last run, shall I say. I do see, yeah, Oxygen harvesting. Now will he jump into the pits? Very likely. Don't know why there are, yeah, we have yellow sector 1, sector 2, because you have you got King James kind of cutting through the track, which is, it's okay. Oh, snap over there, but yeah, jumping into the pits. Wait, this game really needs to fix its time position. Let's see if I can try to bring that up. But yeah, that's the standings for you. How many minutes left? I don't know. So let's see how if I can bring that up. Da, da, da. Yeah, man. Okay. So everybody's in the pit right now. Oh, looks like King James was out of fuel. He really wants to get back into the pits. And finally we have it. But yeah, at the end of the second last run of the session, 3 minutes to go. So yeah, King James is in a time crunch right now. He needs to get out ASAP. So you won't really have much time to fiddle around with his setup or what have you. You just got to pop on a new set and get out. So we'll see if he can make the clock. It's typically a 2-minute outlap. If you want to make sure that you do it the right way. Gangster is the lead, the one and only McLaren 128.6. We'll see how he fares too. Alpine in and out of the pits in a jiffy. He is the first one out. No, he's still. Yeah, he's out on outlap. So yeah, interesting to see how he does. Dark Knight has a statement to make. He invalidated in a very odd part of the lap. So would want to see him do a representative lap and actually get it on the board. Yeah, definitely stay on board with it. Jishnu feels very confident. He's not doing his final run. This is just at this point he's just mocking the rest of the grades. That's how it is. 127.1 is a gauntlet of a lap to beat 1 second clear from the rest of the pack. Yeah, I'm very curious, and I'm definitely going to go on board Hacker as he goes into his lap. But yeah, he looks to be the only unknown quantity you could even get close. Aradhya is improved, but not to the extent that we would have liked. and competition really well and truly kind of driving away. But yeah, let's at least stay on board with Oxygen at least to the first few sectors. He is doing final run 128.2, so just a fraction faster, and he will be in the top row. Of course, the rest of the pack will also look to improve. Very clean first few turns, taking good use of the curbs. They are straight lining as far as possible, braking before the curb around the 190 meter mark. Very smooth exit, shall we say, using all of the curb. 2 tenths up, that is exactly what we want to see. Using all of the curb but not unsettling his car. That's fantastically done. Misses the apex just a little bit, not too much to unsettle, so that's not a bad line in itself. Yeah, he's keeping it clean, breaking in the tricky double left-hander of 9 and 10. Gets it neat and tidy there. This is a long straight. We will come back to him a little later. We'll just have a look at his time. Making it the 75, cutting through using, well, not as much as track as you would like. I feel you got the car well under control, so not use all of it. 5 tenths up. That is him right now. He's definitely pushing the limits. How is he going to fare in the last corner? We will wait and see as he cuts across way too much, and that is his run done and dusted. Aradhya Gupta is not doing his lap, but Hacker is the man on the radar here. He's done no laps. This is one and only lap, and probably this is what he would like to as a challenge. Uh, yeah, we don't have any splits to worry or fuss about. He's just on the clock against the top driver, using a lot of the curb there. But yeah, straightening his car out a lot to make sure that he has the maximum, the best possible exit, carries that speed forward by taking a little bit more of the distance. 2 more corners to go. We have got Oxygen, who was unable, nobody looks to be improving, but what is the time that Hacker is setting? He has the front wing just for good measure. He crosses the line with only 129.5. I think he'll be kicking himself on that. Well, there you have it, folks. Simply YT looks to be the last car, as Arjun Senapati has displaced him. Simply is going to get back. Yes, he does. He moves up into P3. And look at that. The Williams is in the top, the front row with a 127.9. So fantastic showing there from Banat. Stellar lap, simply putting it on the second row of the grid at the last minute. So fantastic to see that. But yeah, there you have it, folks. Jishnu 8 tenths above. That is a stellar performance. Banath in P2, simply in P3. Aradhya will be kicking himself in what he's messed up. But yeah, as it stands, he is well and truly in the third row of the grid. And yeah, Hacker also not putting in a good performance. We'll have to see if he has nascent pace in the race. We will wait and find out, shall we? Alright, so it's 29 laps in the desert. Will we have any unexpected rain? It is very rare. It is, obviously the desert, so not really expecting any. Let's have a sneak peek at who's picking what tire and how do they want to be approaching things. Is a 1 stop, 2 stop. See a lot of softs, a lot of mediums. So more on the softer compound side is what we're noticing here. Now it's obviously subject to change, and probably good likelihood that somebody might bring that upon themselves. But this is giving me one of two cents, saying that, hey, tires are durable, they're a little on the harder side, they can go a little longer. And on the flip side, they say, hey, maybe the 2 stop is a little faster. This game is a little different from the previous generation, so this is our first time running around. I don't have the strategy, so we will look for these gung-ho folks to make a statement. Yeah, Simply looks to the only one on who's considering the hards right now. The rest are on mediums and softs. We'll wait and see who changes, and I'm gonna shy away from this because let them have their moment of secrecy. Don't want to be sniping anyone on stream. That isn't, but obviously they can also see it on their side. So nothing is hidden per se from the grid. Gangster, yeah, not able to make too many positions. Simply had a good final lap, which is great to see. But yeah, um, missed out on Banan's lap there. Great to see that pace come alive. Um, will he be able to hold up against the likes of an aggressive, simply an even more aggressive Aradhya Gupta, who is on that championship battle with the likes of Jishnu. I'm just bringing up in the background I'm checking in the background, shall I say, not bringing it up. The current standings, Jishnu is 116 points, well over almost 30 points from Aradhi Gupta. Dark Knight is in P3. He's had some stellar performances, very good race pace, shall I say, 86 points, and Helium in 80. But both of the Ferraris have not had a good qualifying, and that's going to really be hampering their chances going into the race. So we'll have to wait and see how they slice and dice themselves through the field. Yep. So stay tuned, folks. Yeah, if Jishnu has a bad start or if he has a wacky strategy, things might come into the play. But that is, yeah, that's a lot for someone to just close up out of the blue. If he can keep his nose clean, get a good clean start, I think this should be fun. And yeah, we've got the light sequence now. It's formation lap time. Let's have a look at the tire allocations and let's get details on. We've got everybody on the medium tires. No faff, no alternates, no double two stop, no nothing except for E-Dog. So everybody says, you know what, this is the only way to go. We saw a lot of movement in the early stages, but then I think everybody just stars aligned, honestly. Yeah. Great might think alike. God, just following herd mentality. So we'll see how E-Dog performs um, with the rest of the field. He will have that bit more, shall I say, grip to start out with. But yeah, his tires will fade. You have Arjun Senapati smashing one of the banners on the side. Some destruction for the Racing Bulls. Yeah, we'll see how they perform. Oh, super slow there. And that's contact. That's going to be disqualifications for two cars. Yeah, that's those two out of the picture. Don't want to be making such silly things on the grid, my dear fellow racers. Take it easy. And yeah, don't do what Simply did by taking out brake markers. That is not cool. Now, obviously, he's going to say, hey, I accidentally lost control. But if you know Simply, if you know the likes of anyone on this grid, they're not going to be doing anything by accident. These are tier 1 drivers. They have been for a while. So we'll see how they fare. This is going to spice things up for sure. A brake marker missing here and there is really going to screw up with your lines. Even though you may have line on, never helps. But yeah, enough chit chatting. It's time for action. It's time to see who's got it. The run up to turn 1 is always one of the good overtaking spots, shall I say. And we are definitely going to be seeing action there should anyone get close enough. Sector 3 neatly has two right-handers. If you are close enough, are essentially lining up yourself up for half the lap and finally getting to make a move down into turn 1 or turn 3. Okay, it's 5 lights, 4 and 5, and here we go. It's a shaky start for the stream, but you've got the likes of Jishnu still keeping the lead. Banat around the outside. Adi the fantastic opening sequence. He's moved up into P2. Two positions gained from him. Banat and Simply Whitey going side by side. Dark Knight having a fantastic start. He's hounding the likes of Banat. So Banat really not having the best of getaways. But as it stands, just after one sector, the Mercedes are back on top. That's swift work made by the rest of them. In the back of the field, you've got Gangster and King James. You've got Arjun Senapati, who's made a mess of his start and is now last. So a little bit of argy-bargy going on as expected in the middle field, and that's a smacking contact from E-Dog in his fantastic start on the soft tires. But yeah, hopefully he did not get enough damage. We will wait and see if that is definitely the case. But Oxygen really big pushed right now with that soft advantage that E-Dog has on him. But I don't see any visible damage per se, so he may have just gotten away with it. But yeah, he's the one on the box seat right now. Further up ahead, you've got Dark Knight, 3 tenths behind. Let's have a look at the positions change. You've got 1 position, Alex 4 positions, and E-Dog 4 positions. So that's awesome to see them making that stint. Hacker going into the pits at the end of lap 1. So what tire will he go on to? We'll wait and see. Oxygen and Alex right now are jostling for position. Alex dives deep, makes he's actually defending the position, shall I say, from the likes of Oxygen. Banat losing 2 positions. He's the big loser there. And going around the outside and E-Dog down the inside. Suicidal move, shall I say? Snapping what? That's a spun Alex. No, yeah. Okay, you saw it there, folks. You had a car not spinning but flipping. It doesn't look to have any damage on track. I don't know what happened there. A little bit of a loss of words there. You just had bombastic stuff going on, but he looks to be a little unscary. But he might go into the pits. We'll have to wait and watch. But yeah, that was crazy stuff. Going back to the action in the midfield, you got Dark Knight, King James. He's made a couple of moves. Let's just go. I need to get the lay of the land. You've got King James, who actually lost a position, so Dark Knight made that impressive move. Gangster moving up 2 positions. Alex, who got flipped. He had made 4 positions, but now he's lost down a little bit. So he will be kicking himself a little bit, so whether one why couldn't make it happen. But yeah, quick work by Gangster going into turn 1. Makes quick moves up into P6, and now we've got the infamous Racing Bulls battle back again. You've got P7 and P8, inseparable the pair. Yeah, that's just how it is. And yeah, looks like Arjun Senapati is straight away going on the attack. I don't know if there's damage on King James, but that was 2 moves in quick succession there. Wonder why he did not fight that. Maybe they're working together, then that's not necessarily a bad thing. Out in front, you've got the Mercedes of Jishnu and Aradhya Gupta. Aradhya Gupta will be putting his head down right now. He has a big pace deficit, but also he's got some fantastic tire management and battery management. He's at a full 100%, while Jishnu is pushing hard. He's at 50%, so it's looking good. I think this is a good time. There's a lot of opportunities that will come in Bahrain. It is an overtaking track. When you line yourself up, you can just spam a lot, and you can have a lot of benefit from the slipstream. It's one of those slipstream heavy tracks. As you see, he's 6 tenths down. Now whether he can make that move, as he doesn't necessarily deplete. He's not deploying per se. He's still sticking around. But yeah, 4 tenths is the gap with Arjun Senapati. So the Racing Bulls are definitely not giving up, but they're deploying everything. It goes side by side. A clean move by Arjun Senapati. A switchback from Gangster. Thinks about it. Gets a better exit. Now he's going to be trying to hound him. 20% for Gangster. Arjun Serapati even lower, but yeah, he thinks better of it not making that move. So Arjun Serapati now the leading of this trio. Good battle on here on our hands here. So up ahead, you've got Dark Knight, who is trying to continue making some inroads, go a little higher. You know, he's got that championship podium spots to think about. He's been doing very good so far. Now, having said that, Banat is kind of the big loser here. Started out in P2, now is in P4. Will he be able to keep Dark Knight at bay? We'll have to wait and watch. But yeah, he would definitely want to kind of keep his wits about him. It's a long race. You don't want to be throwing any audacious defensive maneuvers in the name of keeping that position oh so wholly for yourself. But yeah, you never know. We'll wait and see if that gap comes down further. But having said that, King James now the second Racing Bulls quite close to the diffuser of the McLaren. Jishnu going down a position. Oh, that's a move by Aradhya. He's dumped his fuel, but he's still maintaining well over 70. So whether there was a strategic move to just pass him, Banath defending Dark Knight, pushing him, squeezing him outside of the track. That is a staunch defense there from the likes of Banath. Now, what will Dark Knight do? Will he stick behind in this? He does, yeah. But that is a elbows out defensive move. So Bharat is taking no prisoners here. Yeah, this is going to be a good battle to watch. He definitely wants to keep that battery in check because as the driver behind, he's going to be harvesting way more. He's well over double his ERS. So Bharat will have to play this strategically. Drivers in the past, in seasons before, they have made strides to work with each other. You can take the toe, you can make a clean overtake, stay ahead, keep your battery in check, deploy in the right places, make a pass, and then keep alternating every lap. That's also proved to be a very fruitful strategy, especially considering that in just 5 laps, from P3 onwards, everybody's dropped. You've got 5 seconds between P2 and P3, so the Mercedes are well and truly checking out. 3 seconds penalty for Gangster. I'm not gonna shy. Oh wait, we've got King James really close right now. He's gonna be deploying. Oh, he's harvesting. He's thought better of it. Oxygen also has entered the fray here. And Gangster is also very close. So it doesn't look to be too many gaps forming in the middle of the pack, which is fantastic to see. Oh, that's a cut and a half, shall I say. But this is exactly what we want to see. It's a good racing track. Oh, there's a lot of deployment and a last minute dive bomb. A half-hearted one, shall I say. But luckily both drivers are keeping their wing and the direction pointing in the right way. So yeah, guys, relax. It's a long race. You have lots of moves to make. You have a lot of tire strategy and to consider. The game says a 2-stop. We'll see whether any one of them does it. Yeah, the squad is always favored going into a 1-stop, unless there are tracks where the deg is exponential, shall I say. But yeah, we will see what the strategies will transpire. Hacker pitting at the end of lap 1. He is oh so well in last place, but he has good pace right now. What tire is he running on? He's running on the hard tires. So of course he will also have to go on another stop. He can't take these hards to the end. That's just suboptimal. So he has a fair bit of ground to make.
Looks like things are settled down a little bit. I mean, settled down is still a bit of an understatement. You got is still a very crowded pit track, but well, the way things are going, it seems to be a very crowded mid pack, and guys are holding over each other position. And yeah, it's been a chaotic race so far. Not sure how it's going to be working out.
Hey Deepak.
Yep, I guess I came right in time for the action, and I think it was a very chaotic race as you just saw. And I still couldn't believe how that pass just flipped over. I haven't seen that in I don't know for how long, but a chaotic start to say the least.
Indeed, indeed. Alright, so we've got Deepak Raj in the comms box. Hey Deepak, thanks for joining in. Yeah, we're gonna have a wonderful showing on our hands. Oxygen making a dive bomb at the end of the back straight. He is looking very, very feisty right now. So far, no collisions. That's always great to see. But yeah, 3 seconds on the clock currently for the McLaren and the Red Bull of Edoc. Um, so, so at this point of the race, what you need on your side is common sense. What you need to know is that if you keep throwing, yes, you're gonna get more opportunities. There's a track with good amount of slipstream, good amount of tow, so keeping within a second is not unheard of. Um, you can make moves, but making it stick and then losing all your battery in the process is detrimental. That's exactly what we want to avoid. So we'll see how that pans out.
I mean, yeah, from a driver's perspective, it's not a very ideal thing to be dumping a battery, but as an audience, we do want sort of battles happening. So yeah, I mean, as you're saying that, I do hope these guys just continue to squabble on because it's just some absolute box office stuff happening right now. I say that Dark Knight is still on the tail of Bennett, who had a horrendous start, dropped to 2 positions, and now he's trying to stay as much as he can ahead of Dark Knight. And Dark Knight is being relentless in his pressure. Right now, he's still in the DRS range, and yeah, he is preparing to strike once again. We just saw how that happened in turn one. It's quite a staunch defense from Bennett. Hang on to it. But yeah, we'll be seeing how he could hang on even more because Dark Knight does not seem to be letting down the pressure.
Yeah, and that's that's his pace slowly coming to light. He made a fantastic lap. Yes, there's only a couple of tenths between the two. So he's able to keep that distance, keep his management. You've got Aradhya now, who's switched around again. You've got 6.5 seconds now, the gap between the Mercedes pair. I don't know if they really want to be fighting so much at this point in time, and it's just a long race. But yeah, Jishnu's back in the lead.
Seems to be shades of 2014 Mercedes domination all over again. Two cars just wobbling and just pulling away from the field. We got a big gap of 6.8 seconds behind with Simply, who's P3. Seems to be kind of in his own no man's land. And as you see, Oxygen once again sending it down on the inside into turn 4. And there's a slight contact. King James gets a little upset over there and he is slightly sent out. And Oxygen gets the move after several attempts.
Yeah, I mean that's an oddie move. I must be said. But he's finding so many opportunities. He can only stay back for so long. At some point, he says, "You know what, buddy? I'm losing time here, hand over fist. So I need to get a move on." Make it happen. Whether that's a fair move, whether that's something that King James will take lying down. There are many ways to do it. Get it on track, get it off track. There's tools are here to look into it. So let's see how it pans out in the end.
Yep, and coming about tire choices, we did see it be a very, let's say, a not so mixed up tire grid because everyone started on mediums, and I think Helium had to switch to hards because of the first lap crash. So he will definitely be looking to go along and hope for a safety car to gain those positions back. But coming back to the action on track, Dark Knight is within the DRS range. Again, he's closing in onto the braking zone and he has a look but stays back and shapes up for a better exit. Tries to get a good exit on the run to turn 4. Banat seems to have a much better exit through turn 2 and he's pulled a decent gap and I think Banat will survive this lap. I think there was some fight back in the grid. I'm not sure what is going on. I think Hacker is close to Alex. I think it is a change in position. I think it was Hacker who is moving past Alex on the straight. A simple DRS move and we are done. But Alex now, who is chasing after Gangster, and he gets a 3 seconds for track warning. So yeah, that's gonna put a damper on his race.
That's Oxygen. Yeah, who's been throwing and he's been trying a couple of. Oh, that's deep from Gangster, not even be getting the best of exits there. So the gap is going to come down, it's going to come down. You can already feel him going defensive, starting to harvest a little earlier. Hacker has left the session in his true disconnection style, so we'll be losing all that time again. See, we've got a pit right now. It looks like 10 laps in. King James has pitted. Alex has pitted. So 4 drivers. Obviously, E-Dog on his softs had to pit. So what is the undercut, if at all, they can make? Selling dummies, cutting white lines. I don't know what the rule book these guys are following, but deploying every single ounce of that ERS and sizing up himself up for the move, and he gets oversteer. Doesn't help his case there, and he's gonna have to lay back and try all over again.
That turn to exit really did compromise Oxygen's run through there, and he seems to be closing down a lot in the turn for braking zone. It's almost like he's getting caught off guard by how slow the cars up ahead are in the braking zone. So yeah, that seems to be his strong point. That seems to be where he seems to be making his moves. The Arjun has finished his pit stop and he's out on his set of hards, and it's staying as it is over here. Dark Knight still hanging in the DRS, trying to utilize the best of it, extend the stints, and probably see if he could do something in the pit stops to maybe an undercut or an overcut. But right now he seems to be even in the DRS range. Seems to be using a bit of battery to stay up there though. Bennett seems to be slightly comfortable compared to Dark Knight. But yeah, that's where we are standing, and I think we are almost close to the pit window. I'm not aware of what the pit window is here, but by the look of things and how the tire wears quickly in this game, I'm pretty sure we are close to the pit window.
Yeah, and another point to note, and as we get closer and closer to the pit window, is that while defending from the likes of, wait a minute, is there? Oh, that's yeah.
Aradia has pitted.
Yes. So the second Mercedes has boxed for a set of mediums. Now the gap keeps fluctuating. It looks like it's rapidly increasing right now, but it was almost a second at the middle sector of the last lap. So Bennett was actually quite close to Simply YT, but now looks like either the pace has dropped or there's a big shift. Simply is kind of definitely turned up the wick well again.
It does look like Simply is managing this gap. Again, Simply is running in a bit of a no man's land with a very big gap ahead, 8.8 seconds. We see a battle up here. I think it is Arjun Senapati coming back on Oxygen here to pay back for his friend. And he's having a better tire right now. So Oxygen is on an older set, obviously. And we have a yellow flag in sector 2. I think that's a Ferrari of Hacker. I think he has chosen to retire the car. So yeah, that's a sad end to his race. Disconnections and everything. So yeah, we got a first car of the starters. Well, yeah, it's not a good sign. And I think Jishnu has entered the pit. I think it'll be interesting to see where the two Mercs come out of it when the pit stops are done.
He's in the pits as Aradia is coming around the last corner. Jishnu is done with his stop, trotting along at 80 kph. You've got Simply YT also making a stop, Bennett staying out, and you've got a clean overtake by Aradia on his in-temp hard tires. Now the gap is over 1 second, and this is the crucial bit. Jeshta is going to be pushing, and I'm pretty sure Aradia is going to be pushing a little harder than usual. You've got side-by-side action here between Bennett, who finally had to give his position, I believe, at the end of the pit stop, because he's on hard tires and so is Dark Knight. But finally, Dark Knight makes his way through. And yeah, that was a long, hard drawn out battle to finally get that position.
That was a long-term battle, and going back to this, a lot of bumper cars going on here. Gangster shoving his way through, and we have Arjun Senapati in the equation, throwing his car down the inside. And here we go on to turn 9 and 10, and Gangster has to back out of that. So yeah, some brilliant racing action, some borderline bumper car action, but that is what it is. And Arjun Singh seems to have a better exit compared to Oxygen. He's having a look on the inside, he's dumping his energy, and he is through. Oxygen does not offer any fight through there. This Oxygen is still trying to get those tires up. Has he boxed it? I'm not sure if he's pitted. I think he has pitted. Yes, he's on the use of hard tires, so probably the tires not up to temps or whatever reason. But yeah, he seems to be not fighting that too hard, but probably he's waiting for the tires to come up to temps.
Yeah, and it's just the start. You once you're in temp, once you're well in that half-second barrier, which Gangster also seems to be very close to, you can dump, make the move. It's a matter of picking when you want to do it. You can't do it every single time, but you can definitely dump and get way closer than you wish to, shall I say, or even then some to easily make a move. It's just a matter of picking your battles. Oxygen in this point in time, he's looking about it. Go around the outside and smashes into the other right wing. Now they have a bit of a collision. Now, will Gangster be able to take advantage of it? No, he does not. He had a bad exit into turn 1, but quite deep, and unfortunately wasn't able to capitalize. Now, does that mean there's damage for Oxygen? We'll have to wait and see. But a bit of a gap has formed. Yeah, no, I don't see it. Sorry, I don't see any gap per se, but it's definitely fallen back, and Gangster looks to be well and truly on his diffuser. Still not able to make a move, but that move definitely spooked Oxygen a little bit, and yeah, the gap has increased to a second.
And there seems to be a lot of debris flying all over the place. So yeah, it's proper demolition going on, and I mean, I think Oxygen wings are intact, so at least it's good. I think he seems to be going through a phase where he's slightly off rhythm, slightly off pace. I think that's what's happening. Well, Banath is hanging within the DRS of Dark Knight, who is in turn within the DRS of Simply. Simply has definitely lost some time in the pit stops because he had a healthy gap to the cars behind. So we see Dark Knight, who's on the charge, who's got bottled behind Banath for quite a while. He's been finally released a lap earlier. He's set to unleash his pace and see how far up the grid he can go. Right now he's in DRS range. He's got a good pace. Seems to be in a good position right now, and Simply seems to be under pressure.
Yep, it's all touch and go right now. A lot of battery usage from the likes of Simply. Now he's a little better off, but yeah, he can't keep them in his DRS train because it just makes it easier over time for them to recharge. So he needs to keep them on that 1 second plus periphery. Banath has dropped out. Will he deploy and force his way back? No, he is a little bit, but may not be enough. It is well and truly over a 1 second gap. King James is now the lead Racing Bulls. He's done and got a good gap from this battle trio, who seem to be really enjoying the desert breeze right now. Very lively in the way they're attacking each other. It's a good sign, but yeah, you never want to be overstepping your bounds, and yeah, that's grounds for going to the principal's chamber.
Well, yeah, it seems to be the case. I mean, they already had their share of contacts, and it just doesn't seem to be ending for them. They're still somehow line and stern, going through the main straight. Again, this could be a potential for whom I think Oxygen has DRS. Seems to be having good enough run through here, and looks like he's setting up exit. And Gangster closes so much on turn one, it's almost insane levels. And he sends it into turn 2 and barges off Oxygen slightly onto the curb, and Oxygen stands firm and holds his ground. So yeah, that was pretty close, and I don't think this is still done yet. Is he gonna have to take in turn 4? Oxygen goes slightly wide. Gangster takes the inside line and says get out of here onto the outside. But Oxygen once again has a better outside line and stands just ahead. But yeah, this is just killing a lot of time, as you see the Racing Bull up ahead has built off a gap in all this chaos.
Yeah, just if they think about the big picture, they're not helping each other's case. They want to be getting closer to that Racing Bull that has, significantly, considerably more points on offer. But they do silly stuff like this. They risk taking each other out, not getting any points. Of course, every point matters, but you've got the Racing Bulls who are a little on a different strategy or at least mindset. They are able to cleanly make their way through. Now it's a matter of the pace coming alive and seeing, hey, you know what, who actually stays together. Looks like Gangster has come out of that 1 second gap, so it's now a do or die situation for him to get that second back. Oh, he's coming back into the pits. I wonder what must have happened there in that contact. He's got a 10-second penalty just to add salt to the wound, and yeah, he retires from the ground. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think probably some of the contact might have had some wing damage, and I guess that 10 seconds penalty in the pit lane might have been the final nail in the coffin. But considering that 15 positions get points, I think he could have maybe just carried on and finished the race. But I guess he just had enough for the day. So that leaves Oxygen free from any disturbance from the back. I know he's free to attack Arjun Senapati right now.
Yep. With all of this going on, the battle for the top step and the battle for the last podium slots are still well and truly up. Jishnu had a 1.8 second gap, but now he's deploying everything from his battery, trying to get into that 1 second barrier. He misses out narrowly at this point in time and then uses it again. He knew he's desperate right now. This is a man using everything. He's throwing the kitchen sink to get within the means, and you can see, he's touching distance. But as soon as he gets onto the braking zone, the gap explodes as Aradhya reveals his pace. He's on double his ERS, and yeah, now Jishnu will have to go recalibrate and say, hey, I don't know what's going on. I had 8 tenths of a gap in quali. Was that a sandbag? Where is my pace? Why am I not able to get in? We've got 9 laps to go. Not 9 laps, no mistake. 10 laps to go. And little over a second between the gap. So it's not all over just yet. But yeah,
I think there is some playing going on between P7 and P8. I haven't seen up in Oxygen or at it again. I saw their faces popping around a little bit. Can you check what they are up to?
Yeah, these guys are still the same. No change also, buddy.
And we got that way. He's much closer to Simply this time around within the DRS, within the striking range. I think if he gets a good exit on the final corner, he has got this move sorted. But will Simply, what will Simply be able to do to defend? Can you have a look at his battery, please? He's got more than enough to handle this. But yeah, it's all about that final corner exit, because if you mess up that exit, no matter how much battery you have, you're gonna be putting yourself into a hole. But looks like he is getting a good one, and Dark Knight also has got this only sorted. And will he be dumping? Oh yes, Dark Knight is dumping everything he has. Is all in right now. Meanwhile, simply seems to be having enough in the reserves to hold on to this assault from Dark Knight. So, yeah, let's see what kind of exit does Dark Knight get. It is slightly deep. It's a good launch out of turn 2 and 3, and he's got himself perfectly settled up. And Dark Knight is still trying his level best to unsettle Simply and get that place from him.
That corner, the exit of turn 1 and going through turn 2, that is one corner where when you're on the edge of grip, you simply have another level of traction that you can just slice through that corner in a kind of slidey, phasey manner. Not the best way I put it, but this is where the traction control that you're seeing from the likes of Dark Knight especially will not be able to benefit from that. They are limited in a way, good ways many times, because it isn't hurting them by spinning out, but yeah, it's not ideal for that traction heavy zone.
But like I said, turn 2 requires you to slightly rotate the car on the throttle, and that gives you the perfect straight line to cut through turn 2 and get a good straight line onto turn 4. yeah, it does become a bit of a limiting factor. And we're on back with the Racing Bulls, who are within the DRS range, and Arjun Senapati seems to be having the upper hand right now. King James also having some track penalties on his name, so I don't think it's very wise to be for them to be fighting if they want a good haul of points for the team.
We send a move down the inside. They're side by side going into the apex. Very, I must say, equal as they go out of turn 2. And yeah, Arjun Senapati makes the move. Now, will King James be susceptible to a move from Oxygen? No, thinking about it, Oxygen go around the outside of King James. Will he stick by it? No, they are nose to tail right now. Very, very close action. Just 210 separating the pair, the three of them. That's how close it was at that point after turn 4.
King James was immaculate with the defense there, covered the inside line. Oxygen tried to throw a move on the outside, and King James just escorted him all the way to the outside of the track limits, and Oxygen had no chance but to just settle behind his back. I'm sure it must be very frustrating for Oxygen, and it's going to be. I think he could draw the Red Bulls rear from memory right now. He's been stuck behind those cars for God knows how long.
Indeed, but he can't lose his cool just yet. He has to be a little more strategic about it. He's doing all the right things, but he needs to have the battery, he needs to have the positioning, and he needs to also have probably a bit of luck because the Racing Bulls have, I think, just a little bit better chemistry amongst each other. They've not necessarily killed the pair, and they're quite respectful in that sense. So Oxygen will have to have a strategy in place to kind of actually dispose of the car. He is now fully deploying. Think about a move down the inside into turn 1. Breaks well early, but does spook King James in the process. Will go around the outside, thinking of a switchback, but now stuck to his tail and back at it with that 10%, simply not helping his case. He doesn't have it in him to deploy, and yeah, you can see in the second phase of turn 3 that the Racing Bull is just washing away and flying off into the distance.
King James doesn't seem to be getting spooked by all those moves. Oxygen seemed to be throwing a half lunge into turn 1. King James just held his line on the outside and just cut across in front of Oxygen, almost cutting his nose off in the process. But yeah, that's just some brilliant defense, and you can see the desperation in Oxygen attempts. Like, he literally just dumped everything he had into reserves. And yeah, like you said, it doesn't help on the run to turn 4. That's a major part of this one. Once you clear turn 1, the turn 4 is the next opportunity. Going back to the front, the lead battle, I think it is a bit of a damper to it because Jishnu has a track limits penalty on his name. So yeah, that kind of puts a bummer to the whole lead battle, but at least he can still fight for on-track bragging rights. I think that's where this is going to be now.
Yeah, I mean, don't count it out. The amount of pressure that Jishnu can apply on Aradhya, you never know if he actually is going to cave under the pressure. Having said that, one person who's definitely not caving under the pressure is simply YT. He's got that excess battery in reserve, and he's putting up a great defense from Dark Knight. Dark Knight consistently throwing the kitchen sink and compromising himself. He has to take the next couple of laps to really get that pull, but he still is constantly on the attack and is not able to pull one decisive one, which is not helping his case.
Going back to the bus festival, I think we did notice that Jishnu has been low on battery. Like, even after his pit stop, he was low on battery, so he's definitely throwing everything he has at Aradhya. And Aradhya seems to be masterful at managing his pace. Seems to be having much better battery, much better pace, and yeah, right now it seems to be going good. But Jishnu is definitely closer now compared to previous laps. He's now almost half a tenth behind Aradhya. So yeah, seems to be the late pace is coming towards Jishnu.
Yep, and having said that, this is the closest Jishnu's been in the second half of this race. He is low on battery, yes, so I don't foresee him making any moves this lap. But yeah, he's well and truly finally in the DRS zone.
Indeed, that does help with the battery deficit. And behind, we see Burnett has once again entered the DRS range of Dark Knight. So did he make a mistake? I'm not sure. Or is Burnett just back in his groove and is catching up? But either way, this does look like the battle for P3 just got a bit more interesting.
Yeah, you got battles all across the field, and that is what Bahrain brings out the best in us. So much action, across the field is just what we love to see here. If you want to get into the action, find yourself our Discord link in the description below. You can also head to the indianracingcommunity.co.in for all our specs or stats. Join our server. I think there's a move here. As I say that, you've got Oxygen again trying a move around the outside, I believe, but that superior traction of King James is really saving him, being his saving grace. But yeah, nothing separating these two and these three shadows here at this point in time.
I think in the last lap, these three, all these three teams were just moving around on the leaderboard. I was just trying to figure out what was happening around there. Because the racing was swapped and Oxygen was trying to throw himself out in there, but yeah, King James just standing firm once again and holding that place. The racing was just moving and just holding firm.
Indeed. Good chemistry there. Hey, there's a change for the lead. There is. Jishnu goes back into the lead. He has a 3 seconds, which is not going to help his case. But yeah, finally making that move on the 24th lap, moves up into P1.
And now the pressure is on Aradhya to keep Jishnu within 3 seconds and of course not get himself any of those track limit warnings, which are quite easy to get here. So yeah, Aradhya needs to be careful now, but again, it's quite simple to be set on paper, but the pressure is immense. Jishnu is really quick. Now all of his focus will be on to stretch that 3-second gap and nullify that penalty.
Yeah, talking about pressure, this is the next wave of pressure Oxygen is applying on King James, going side by side into turn 3. He has no battery once again to mount an attack on King James. He has a much better exit, but simply no drive at the end of the corner. So time and time again we're seeing the same story pick out. And Oxygen really has to go back to the drawing board or force a decisive move, because this is not helping his case. With all of this battling, you've got Arjun Senapati who's nearly drawn out that elusive 1 second gap on King James. So these guys are not helping each other get back into P7.
Yep, for sure. Oxygen seems to be using a lot of battery to get close, but once he gets close, there seems to be nothing left in the tank for him to get the move. Like you said, turn 4 had a good switchback exit, but literally had nothing left in the tank for him to mount an attack onto the next corner. You see the must race are once again closed. Aradhya has closed down a lot into turn 1, and I'm kind of interesting to see how they're gonna handle this out, because Aradhya does know that Jishnu has a truck run penalty. But is he gonna be like, I'll be sit behind and take it on the penalties, or is he gonna be like, nope, I want to be on the track? As you say, there's a position change, and Banat has moved up to P4 and is now hot on the tails of Simply. I think Dark Knight has been passed for the position. So yeah, Banat is definitely taking his claim to the podium even more stronger right now.
Yeah, and it all boils down to his battery management. You got Dark Knight at 20%, and even after that move, where he must have dumped to make it stick, Banat is at 50%. Now the gap is just eked out over a second, so you will need to push a little bit to stay within. You only have a little over 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix, so you can't just be sticking around waiting for that pace to kick in and get into the barrier. So he does need to deploy a little bit to get a little closer. But yes, he is in the box seat to make that final charge on Simply Whitey, who's been phenomenal all race now. Manages battery, manages ERS well, stuck to his strengths, and he is in P3. So who will come out on top, with Bharat going up and down the field, we'll have to wait and show. So folks, stick around to witness the finale.
Once again, it is just shades of Bahrain 2014 all over. The gap between P2 and P3 is a whopping 21 seconds, almost a pit stop, if I would rather say. And Aradhya is still applying the pressure, 1/10 behind the gap, extended to 1 second almost, but then he's again back on the tail of Jishnu. He looks to be wanting this as bad as he can. He doesn't want to win this on penalty, he wants to win this on the track.
Yeah, and the battery difference, the delta is growing with every single sector. Now Aradhya over 85%, while Jishnu on a measly 40%. Now obviously this is going to help his case on the defense, so he'll have to make it count in one single go. He can't be dilly-dallying saying I'm going to try half a move here, half a move there. One single swipe, because Jishnu with each passing moment he's able to keep that gap manageable. He's also going to recover more energy. Having said that, we're at 70% going into the 27th lap. This is the closest the gap has been. Will he pounce on this? Yes, there is some deployment on Aradhya, but he stops. He stops early. But now Jishnu is flashing under 10% and is deploying some. We've got a second phase of deployment. Super close there. A burst of energy from the likes of Aradhya on Jishnu. So he's just playing mind games. He's got so much. And this is just putting that extra pressure. Going to go around the outside. Jishnu says, you know what, have it, mate. I can't do this. And it's a clean sweep around the outside going into turn 4.
That was indeed Jishnu using all of his battery to stay up and had nothing left after turn 2, and Aradhya being immaculate with the battery management throughout the entire race. I mean, the deficit has been through this way the entire race. The brilliant management from Aradhya. But then we see simply and that the Dark Knight going at it. I think Dark Knight has overtook Banat. My bad. I'm sorry for that. So yeah, looks like Dark Knight has retaken P4 from Banat. So yeah, this is absolute great news for Simply, who gets to stretch his gap even more. He's 2 seconds up front. And meanwhile, Oxygen once again tries an attempt into turn 4, tries to move on the outside, but King James once again blocking that apex, saying that just stay behind, mate. So yeah, this is just frustrating for Oxygen. I can feel the second frustration from where I'm sitting right now. So yeah, definitely not a very good race for him.
Yep. And it's crazy to see. Banat tried so hard to get into that 1 second gap to Simply YT. And he tried and he tried and simply could make no inroads. It was 1.5 seconds when he got past. And now in a single swoop, Dark Knight has made that move and now he is in the box seat in P4. Now whether Simply and Dark Knight are working together to make sure that Banat doesn't get the position, I don't know. It's possible. I'm pretty sure they would deny it. But it just looks very odd from where I'm sitting, that this is always playing out in a certain way. Having said that, 25% is the battery on Dark Knight. Little over is 40% is Banat, so he's probably looking at the move next time around. Now in the lead of the race, I don't know where I went, sorry. You've got the likes of Jishnu. He has one more lap to make a move. He's got 60%, while Aradhya has 80. So, yeah, that is. They've got their guns loaded. It's time for all attack. You need to be right there, ready to make a move. Who's gonna have their wits about them? Let's have a look.
Got a little too close to comfort. Vishnu closing down a lot under braking, and I'm not sure if Simply had a mistake or something last lap, because I think he had a healthy lead over Dark Knight, but I think he just suddenly the gap just closed down between all three of them. So I'm not sure if it was a mistake or something else, but yeah, he seems to be under pressure right now, and yeah, the battle's all over the place for the podium position. And the Steven P, though might look settled, it's still all about the bragging rights on track, who gets the lead. And yeah, it definitely is an entertaining battle. Would have been even entertaining if that warning, the penalty was not there, but nonetheless still a very entertaining battle shown by these two guys. Vishnu has a peek on the inside, but just sends a fake lunge, trying to unsettle Aradhya, who slightly has a lockup, but still has the measure sorted. He has the run, and he's slightly going to the middle to cover off any possible attacks from Vishnu. Coming back to this 3-car battle for P3, I'm pretty sure this is going to be all or nothing in this lap, because everyone's going to throw their kitchen sinks at it. Dark Knight's lights are already flashing. I think he slightly has a lower battery. He takes the middle line. Banat tries to go around the outside, but Dark Knight is holding firm, and Banat slightly ahead, but cannot make that move done. Dark Knight hangs on for now, but with that low battery, it's going to be a very difficult task. Banat once again has a peek on the inside, sends it down, return for Dark Knight, tries to hang it round the outside. Banat says, just get out of here, and sends him off. Gives him just enough space and escorts him to the edge of the track limit, but Dark Knight ain't gonna take this line down. He's deploying battery in the middle of the corner. That's how badly he wants this position. And once again tries to get a good exit. Banat has a bit of a wheel spin. This must be this everything is just playing to Simply's hand at this point. these guys are just. But I mean, all said and done, it's a very very interesting battle.
Indeed, but yeah, he's all out of ERS. That's all she wrote. And same tale for Jishnu. He had the pace, he had everything but the strategy. Aradhya with his superior tire management, so not tire management, ERS management, crosses the line to win P1 on track and yeah, with the penalties included too. Simply YT, a great defense, stuck to his guns, going to finish in P3. And Banat, having made that move in the last lap, finishing in P4, he will take that result. Dark Knight made some positions into P5. Yeah, that's how the fat lady thinks.
And the Racing Bulls are now coming across the line. Oh, wait, no, no, wait, he didn't cross the line. Oh my god, did he just spin out to the final corner? What just happened there?
Huh.
Oh my god, that's a very anticlimactic end to his race. But yeah, this is not something that we wanted to see. Just about to say good teamwork, but yeah, I mean, on the bright side, Oxygen definitely makes it past. So,
Yeah, and the penalties don't matter if you can't cross the line. Alex is going to get a position too, and so will Edog.
yep, I'm pretty sure King James is going to be hitting himself because I mean, I think he drove a very good race, showed us some good entertainment in his defense against Oxygen. Uh, but yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame to lose in the final corner like that.
Indeed, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your Bahrain Grand Prix for the F125 uh, league for season 12. A great performance from Aradhya, besting the likes of Jishnu here with that superior strategy and, of course, the mechanics of the game. P1 and the fastest lap to Aradhya Gupta, making some well deserved points back to Jishnu. The gap reducing just that little bit by 7 points. Simply White in P3, Bonnet in P4, Dark Knight in P5. You know the story, so I'm just gonna go ahead and look at what we have here from the race director for future reference. But yes, action all around. You know that Bahrain never disappoints.
Bahrain never disappoints. It's been a fantastic circuit layout, providing some fantastic races in the past, and this race was nothing short of ordinary. It was such a great race, and a lot of good battles, some immaculate racing, some good management, good defense thrown all around. Yeah, I was thoroughly entertained. I'm pretty sure the viewers were also thoroughly entertained by the action that we just saw on track.
Indeed, indeed. Alright, let's take a breather. Let's compose ourselves and see, hey, what's what, where's who. Let's jump into the podium uh, interviews in just a bit. But yeah, damn, you have to feel for King James having put such a fantastic defense. But you also have to give it oxygen. He tried and tried and tried. He is that spider who kept pushing the stone over. He did not give up. Finally got that move, even if it was the last corner. He did not give up. Probably was gifted to him by the overlords, but yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, we have a top three. Deepak wanted to take it away with the interview.
All right, let's start with our P3 for the day. Simply YT. So simply just talk about your race, man. I think you were in a bit of no man's land in the middle, but I think things got a little too spicy at the end. So yeah, talk us through your race.
Well, I mean, congrats obviously to Jishnu and Aradhya. This literally feels like 2014 Mercedes domination if I were to take you guys back there. And to be fair, the whole race, it wasn't necessarily boring for me because, as you mentioned, Deepak, I was in no man's land. But then I realized that Banat had the pace to be on the podium. So I was like, okay, well, I have to keep the podium somehow. My first ever race on F125, I had basically no clue how any of the tires worked or anything. So the whole time I had Sandeep and Dark Knight coaching me through how everything essentially works in this game. But yeah, F1 2018 did help me to help manage my ERS throughout. And my only realistic option, what I thought was to keep that P3 was would to be use Dark Knight, essentially keep him in the DRS, but not let him get close enough so that Banat doesn't really have that overspeed of such shots to get past Dark Knight and then catch up to be. Although that did happen a few times here and there, but Dark Knight did well enough to get past. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, for the first race on F125, getting a podium is not bad, is what I'd say.
Yep, not bad indeed. And then actually confused, like because you had a good gap, but then suddenly Dartmouth was in DRS. So yeah, I think yeah, that's some clever tactics. To be honest, it's pretty good, and yeah, really great podium from you. And considering it's your first race in this game as well, yeah, that definitely is an impressive feat. So yeah, congratulations on the podium, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on to P2. So Kapil, why don't you take this?
Oops. Okay. Yeah. Aradhya Gupta. No, that's not. I'm not right. That's Jishnu. Sorry. My bad. Quali hit me a little too hard there. But yes, Jishnu, why don't you walk us through Quali, the race, the battle, the historic scenes? How was all of it?
Yeah, it was good. Quali was really good. Did two runs. Wanted to save a soft because I went for harder compounds. But race was good. Initially it was about just keeping each other in DRS, pulling away and then battling it out. And yeah, it was really good. Probably my weakest, I would say, race pace wise. And Aradhya was also good. I mean, last race he wanted to win. Unfortunately, he had the 3 second, and this race I got the 3 seconds. So it was a good battle till then. And I mean, I didn't want to fight also because no point. 1-2 was always good for Mercedes, and hopefully we'll seal the constructors very soon. And yeah, it's about uh, drivers. Will be then. Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I've probably also asked Aradhya this whether he was sandbagging. That's my leading theory. But going from quali to race, did you find anything which is not sitting right? Was it the tires? Was it the wear? Was it the fuel changing the dynamics? What was it that because 8 tenths is no slouch. So did you feel what did you feel were the factors that kind of determine that you guys are more on the same pace in the race?
No, quali was always good. Quali, also about ERS management throughout the quali, and yeah, I think setup was also good overall. But in the race, I think it just lacked a bit. I was running quite a bit of different suspension uh, to what I run normally, like a stock on all tracks, most of the tracks. So the roll bars were different for this race, just trying out. And in the race, yeah, I did lack a bit of traction, but I think tire wear was fine. The controllers are obviously good on traction, and I think his ERS management was overall better than mine today in this race. Yeah, mine I couldn't just. I wanted to get it into his DRS, but he knew where to deploy and everything. So yeah, it was a good race overall.
Good to see and good sport between. I hope there's no love lost. Definitely looks that way between the you two. So
No, no, never.
No, no, no.
great result, Jishnu. Deepak, can you take it away with Saradhya for P1?
Yep, indeed. So Aradhya, it's been almost a flawless race from you. I mean, you had a very good race. So yeah, just talk us through it, man.
Yeah, in quali, unfortunately, I got hold up for my last lap, so I couldn't complete my last lap. So started P4, but Jishnu, obviously, being a great teammate, he managed to defend from Banat and simply at start. So easily was able to get down there inside and get into up into P2. Then I mean, yeah, first pace. The first stint was just about managing tires, getting till the perfect lap window to pit for both of us. So first stint we weren't fighting. Second stint, me and Justin were like just complete fair fight till the end. Like no one takes each other out, just fair fight. And yeah, we just kept pushing each other, just fighting every single lap, pushing, playing mind games, and uh, to be honest, this was one of my best races ever. I will also say, like, in throughout my IRC career and ever on sim racing, I well very confident in the car, and Bahrain, obviously being one of my best tracks ever. So feels good to have my first win of the season around here. And yeah, I mean, it's a shame that Jishnu got a 3-second time penalty towards the end of the race. Otherwise, it would have been a pretty fun battle going towards the last lap. But still, we both were like, we'll just ignore it, and we kept on, just a little bit fighting, not too much to harm our race. But yeah, I mean, it was fun, and definitely not any love lost in between us. We're still, going for the constructors before drivers first. So yeah.
I absolutely love to hear that. That's this is what team bonding is all about, and yeah, we could see that there is nothing but fair racing through and through, and yeah, this time it's all yours to take, Aradhya. So congratulations on your first victory in F125. Alrighty, so that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our race and weekend. ACC did take a break this time around, but we will be back next time. So do tune in coming Saturday for more action. We're back. But until then, stay safe and we'll see you next time. Ciao, everyone.
Bye, and have a great week ahead.
Uh, Very simple thing, guys. If you don't want to be on controller like Aradia, check out Race Sims. Link in the description, also in our server.
Aradhya, do you have any response for that since it's your first victory?
Well, I mean, I'd just like to say controller's not that bad on F125 after all. So it's up to you guys if you want to switch.
Well said. Alright, guys. Take care. Bye bye.